Welcome back to Razmafzar TV. Hi, Usman. How are you doing?
I'm brilliant, thanks, Assad. How are you?
Very good. Good to have you here back on our channel. Today, we are going to talk about different types of shamshir. And I think it's very interesting to just talk about Usman. Usman has a very, very successful Instagram page, Unzip History. Am I correct, Usman?
Yeah, that's the one. Under history. Yep.
You have many, many followers there. How many followers do you have there now?
I think it's nearing 50,000 almost,
Oh, God.
47.5, something along the
That's
lines of that.
huge. That's huge. That's huge.
Thank
A
you.
big
Yeah.
growth. A big growth. So Usman, there, just tell us, tell our members here, what do you do on Unzip History? What do you show?
So Unzip history is quite interesting. I show a lot of different stuff. I show the beauty of Persian culture, also the beauty of Asian culture by extension as well. I show a lot of arms and armor, miniatures, and just everything really, which shows how Asian culture has been amazing throughout history. So often we only focus particularly on one lens, but Asian culture had just as rich history as Western culture did, and I think that's really important. That's a great thing about Razmafzar as well. We really celebrate the what the Persians gave to us in terms of culture, and this is a big part of understanding your history is appreciating your history as well.
Mhm. Oh, very nice. Today, we are going to talk about Persian Shamshir and actually different types of Persian Shamshir, which makes it extremely interesting. So, I'm going to show different types so we can talk about them because normally, before I started my research, people in the West, when they talked about Persian Shamshir, they always thought, or they used to think that Persian Shamshir is only a one which is wedge shaped and no fullers and highly curved. But actually, it's not like
Yeah,
that because Shamshir, first of all, is a generic or general term for referring to any type of sword, straight, curved, slightly curved. And second, there are also many of them which have wider blades and they have also fullers. We're going to discuss that today. Okay, so let me just go and show one thing. Okay, we are going, you just see some types of handle. We are going also to talk about different types of handles of Persian Shamshir. And what I meant with wedge shaped, look at this one here, for example. Here you can see that, right? Right, here. And this one, these are these highly curved and wedge shaped. And then we are going to talk about them. But you see that one on top right has fullers. And this one is Karbala or Karabella, as the Europeans say, Karbala hilt, as we can see. So different ones. Let me just go through the handle first, Usman. As you guys can see, in the middle, there is a Persian Shamshir. This one is called Kolahak, means pommel cap. This one is called Bolchak or Muhafiz Daste, which is crossguard. You can see that here, right? And this one has a walrus ivory. Some of them don't have engravings. This one has engravings. You see that here, right? Look at this, Osman Jan. This one has a wider. Is normally Persian shamshirs are like this, but some of them, and they end in two knobs. Some of them are, wider, like this one. And this has also a
yeah.
pommel cap.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
interesting question I have, aside, is what's the benefit of having a wider
Uh,
crossguard?
the general understanding among some collectors, especially in Germany, was wider ones. Okay, first of all, they said if it's wider, is an older shamshir, which is not true. First of all, handles can be changed and exchanged, right? That's it.
Yeah.
The wider ones, they just said it gives you more protection, but many people don't understand that you have always a bazu band. So when you have a shield, and people, Iranian warriors had bazu band. Even if they didn't have a bazu band, they have very thick gambeson, and even that gambeson provides you lots of protection, right?
Protection.
The,
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying, and some of them is the so-called jezerand, as we call it, kajakant, where there's a small male with rings inside your bazu, gambeson. So, the whole misunderstanding of Persian Shamshir fighting style is they compare it to 19th century, right? Lightsaber game. which they tried to protect their hand and then their arm, and their hand was not protected. They had very light clothing. Comparing shamshir, which is a battlefield weapon, to that is completely wrong, right? And they say, according to European standards, the wider gives you more protection. I doubt that. I doubt that because you have always something to protect, right? Then you can come say, okay, maybe the hand was not protected. As I made a video, most bazoo bands have hand protection. Some didn't. Some had a separate hand protection, right? But whatever, even if they didn't, if you have that much here or longer, right? I wouldn't say that it gives you maybe a bit more protection. So that's what it might be the case again, right? You see that Usman here? This one has a hand, like let's say mostly they're made of leather. We will see it later, or a fabric, as this case here. No, all of them used to have it because they put it here, there, and then they put the hand inside, which is attached to your wrist. So then the shamshir is there. In case you hit very hard and you lose your shamshir or it flies back, it's still on your wrist. You can turn it and have it back in your hand. This is another thing. All of people who fight now with shamshir, they never have that. You understand what I mean? They don't know that this part is attached to it. Then they put the bazoo band, right? So there is always that. If you lose it, it's going to be hanging here, shamshir. Then you can bring it
Yeah.
back in your hand.
No, you're right. So two comments I have on that. The first one is you can imagine how useful that would be in the battlefield, right? Because often when we see people now, they do fencing, and it's not battlefield arts. When you're really striking with force, it's very easy to lose your shamsher. It is surprisingly very easy without that having attached onto it. So that's also very, very useful to have. And also, Asad, I think one of the problems is unfortunately a lot of people they base weapons or should we say battlefield weapons on reproductions. And I think this is not a good way of doing it because reproductions are made with not only modern materials but also a modern understanding as well. The antiques they really get to show you what the battlefield weapons were like, and that's why I think is really important that when people do research on some armor like you do or stuff, that you base it on the antiques, you base it on the real examples that we have, not reproductions. Reproductions are great, don't get me wrong, but they don't give you the full understanding.
No, absolutely not. Also, as we talked about it a couple of times, Osman, together and off record here, or not on the here in the internet. Sometimes maybe we did in videos that people have an armor and they play game of tags and they say my shamshir is useless. Fighting with a shamshir which is not even sharp, right? But the thing is, the question of intention. He puts armor, and if my intention is to kill him, the whole nature of the fight changes.
Changes, yeah.
You know, you're an experienced martial artist, and we both of us we talked about that. Imagine, let's say punching only, let's say boxing. We both know how effective boxing is. Boxing is really effective, right? We all know that. Boxing is one of the elements for MMA. But remember what I mentioned this to you. Imagine one of the boxers has a pen in his hand, a pen, normal pen. Then you see most of the techniques of boxing you have, and he can also box. He is experienced. If he gets punched, he doesn't go down because he's a boxer as well, right? Because we both know if someone has not been punched into his face, that is breaks his nose, right? If you have boxing experience, it doesn't matter. But if you don't, you just lose your all your fighting spirit gets out of the window. But what
As
about if
soon as you taste your own blood.
exactly? What about if he's a boxer and has a pen in his hand? Then soon you will discover that you are in a major disadvantage. It means the nature of the fight changes with a simple pen, right? And now I'm fighting with an unsharp, not sharpened sword, with a dull sword, and a play game of tag. First, game of tag. And I have armor, the guy has an armor. Let's say we don't play a game of tag. We do like they do it in Russia and Ukraine back then in Battle of the Nations. You hit hard, but they make your blade light. It should be like 600, 700 grams most. Should be short. And they hit game of banging. Then they say swords do not have an effect on the armor. But what about if you have a short and you have a sharp sword and your intention is to kill? The whole nature changes of this fight.
It changes completely. You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of say you get boxing, you get even MMA. These are there's rules, regulations in place, and then if you compare that to an unlicensed fight like King of the Streets or one of these, uh, competitions where there's no rules really and anything goes. I mean, the nature completely changes.
Changes.
You end up doing different tactics, different moves, which you won't do when there's rules and regulations in place. For example, if you're doing MMA, you see often in King of the Streets they eye gouge,
Yes,
or they
it
go for the
changes.
groin, or they do these. Yeah, it changes.
I saw that in the last fight of these guys, these King of the Street. I saw that then when someone mounts, right, and they go for eye gouging, not all of them do. The whole grappling, and they're all grapplers, they
Goes
all
up.
know how to grapple, gets out of the window. Yeah,
I mean, it's like you can imagine trying to do jiu-jitsu, but a guy's got he's grabbing you, he's eye gouging you. Everything goes out the window. He bites you. Or he doesn't. But it changes the game. It changes the
changes.
game.
I agree with you. It changes. As much as I love grappling and BJJ, really, they're also one pillar of MMA. But then again, as you said it, and now imagine you fight with a real deal, with a real weapon, and something else people do not understand, although there were some articles, the legend and of Crucible Steel.
Oh yeah, you're right. And it's like in modern martial arts, people you have to have grappling as a background, but people think going to the ground is good and you can win a fight. But in the battlefield of Sad, as you know as well, going to the ground means you're sitting duck.
Yeah,
If you're on the floor, someone's going to come by either on horseback, or it just leaves you very, very vulnerable.
yes. And another thing I would like to stress that many of you haven't handled the real good Crucible Steel. They are really, really vicious cutters and strong
Yeah,
blades. I need to mention that I'm working for the second book for Al Gharashi in his collection and private
amazing.
museum in Qazvin. And there are blades because the heaviest blade I have handled before this was Shamshir of Nader Shah in Nadiri Museum in Mashhad, which is I think 1,000 over 1,200 grams. But these are 1,280 to 1,480 grams. Do you know what kind of Shamshir we are talking about? 1,480 grams of crucible steel on you.
I mean, the level of endurance you would need,
You see?
that is
Yeah. This is
hefty.
not a shamshir for doing these wrist fightings and things like that, right?
And also, side is like you say, armor it provides so much. Even Gambus in itself provides so much protection.
Yes. Yes.
You've got to
Abs-
have something which really cuts.
yes. Absolutely. So you see that this is this, and then the handle here, right? So most of them don't have these engravings. Most of them were made of walrus ivory. Walrus ivory, we talked about it already on this channel, had different reasons. One of them is if you want to distinguish walrus ivory from elephant ivory, is if you have your wet hand or if you have, put your you spit it and try to hold it. After a while, it sticks, right? It sticks there because the bazubans here, they left it, empty always. So you have contact. You have then also this cord here, right? The cord is here, still sticks. You see how much they wanted to hold it in their hand. This is a cord and attached to the shamshir, then they will have walrus. The another thing that the walrus was that the walrus, they believed if you get cut and they put walrus on it, then it stops you from bleeding, which was more a belief system, not a reality. But one more thing, this is also walrus ivory with engravings on it. This is Karbala hilt, Karabela, where Imam Hussein is buried in Iraq, right? Since it's Carabella hilt, I have it in my book that these top, if you look at the top of it, it reminds you on the top of the shrine of Imam Hussein, right? That's one idea of Carabella or Karbala hilt. There are different ideas. Why? Because different nations had it. Ottomans had it. Even Polish had it. Different nations took it over with different ideas. With Professor Toishkin from Ukraine many years ago, we also compared different styles and wrote an academic article on that in case people want to read about it, I can put the link here. But one more thing, some shamshir handles also made of elephant ivory. Some shamshir handles are made of, as you can see it here, staghorn. You see that here, Usman? And
Yeah.
some of them also of buffalo horn. Most of them, if they are not in Carabella hilt, they have a pommel cap, kolahak. One note on pommel cap, most Persian pommel cap stand at 90 degrees. Some of them go up, stand at this degree. Very few of them. And again, less examples go down and stand like that. But most of them are 90 degrees, right? The pommel cap. The pommel cap, I love it because it gives you something you can always use pommel cap for edge alignment. Pommel cap, if you are a good swordsman, you can work with your pommel cap. It's not only there that you have a strong grip, it also can tell you where is your edge alignment, especially in cutting tests and in cutting. So this was the handle, the bolchak. Now look at this. Usman, very few shamshirs have spatulated. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Quillons. I love spatulated quillons. We have also Shah Abbas in some of his miniatures has one of them, and also other Safavid kings. And we have also spatulated quillons in my books. Few of them are like that.
Yeah.
And you see that this is like this. And look at this one, a pommel cap. This is a beautiful example. And
Correct
then,
me if I'm wrong, Ustad, but there's the one in the VNA by, I think that's the sort of Shah Tahmas, but his one also has that as well, Ustad, if I'm not mistaken.
oh no, I don't remember. Actually, I have publications. My colleagues wrote on that, but I don't remember it now from top of my head. Yeah, this is spatulated. I mean, I love spatulated quillins, but
Yeah.
this is from Al Qarashi collection, and look at this S guard. Isn't it beautiful?
Amazing. Oh, amazing. Yeah, it
Yes.
looks like it's taking battlefield damage. That's why one's going up, one's going down.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Beautiful details.
Amazing, right? S guard. Now, some people say, okay, if you put your hand in, but remember, you have a bazuban, you have hand protection. This gives you a part more hand protection. Some people say, I'm not so sure about that, but this part can be used if the blade comes in and gets stuck to turn it like a Japanese sai, right? And
Yeah.
use it as a trapping system. But look at this one. Some Shamshir blades have a handle and the kolahak is already there. You see that? It's part of the handle. Do you see that, Usman? It's not a
Yeah.
separate thing made of steel. This one is there as well. Some Shamshir blades, crossguards have also quillons and in dragon heads. Do you see that? In the Zanj period, we have many examples. Also in Timurid periods, we had actually many of them. Look at these ones as well. You see that? Now look at this, Usman. This one, also the handle made of silver. You see that, I'm sure, a very famed Zand general in my book, Arms and Armor from Iran. You see this similar handle, not this one, but made of silver with dragon hats, ending in dragon hats, and also the whole handle made of silver. Yes, yes,
Amazing.
amazing. And take a look at that. This one is also from Al Qarashi collection. Usman, do you see that? It looks like a Sasanian sword. Indentation for your fingers. Do you see that?
Wow.
This one exists as well. Few of them look like that. Okay.
It's incredible how many variations there are.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
amazing. We see them.
And remember, we had that already, but now look at this one. This is a better example from Al Qarashi collection. You can see that handle, right? Which goes here in your hand, right? So you don't lose it. Now, before we move
Yeah.
on, Usman, pick up your favorite handle.
It's a difficult one. I mean, I'd go for something traditional. So maybe the middle one.
Ah, the middle.
Although some of the other ones they look like works of art. So if I was want a decoration, maybe I'd go for that middle one there. But I'm not sure if I'll take that to the battlefield though.
Yeah. This one is also, you see that as we talked about it.
Yeah.
Regarding the inscriptions, inscriptions can sometimes look down or look up. So it's not always, you can see it also in arms and armor from Iran. Some of them you can read them when you hold the edge up. Sometimes you can read them when you hold the edge down. This is not always in the same direction, right? It's important to know.
Yeah.